This week, we're talking about time crunch as we're clocking in for the big game Bonanza, our first week with Crimson Desert, and asking whether massive hour counts inspire us or overwhelm us. Plus, we're crowning the best game that pushed gaming forward in this week's Pixel Picks Showdown. All this and more on this week's Pixel Parents Podcast. Hello and welcome to the next episode of the Pixel Parents Podcast, the show that discusses all things gaming from the perspective of parents. I am your host, Liam Kirk-Kelvin, and today I'm delighted to be once again joined by the bearded one, the moved one, Scott, the tastemaker Curry. How are we, Scott?
Not only moved, Liam, I am here to move people. You know, I'm here to move the masses because I have words to speak. Checks to write and wrongs to write, I'd say, to be honest with you, Liam.
Right, okay. Checks to write and cheeks to clap.
Cheeks to clap. I'm clapping all these cheeks. Doing nothing but yeah, we're moved. I now have places to swing my arms. I'm not trapped within a tiny desk in my kitchen. I now have a whole room to myself where I can fart and nobody cares. And it's good, you know. Liam so graciously lent his strength to move us, and let me tell you, folks, it was fucking needed because I was dying on my arse on the day of the move, and that man dragged me and my whole family through the whole fucking thing. So a big thank you to Mr. Liam Kirk-Kelvin for that. We wouldn't be anywhere near as far as we are now if it wasn't for you. So there you go.
Oh, look at that. Well, that's appreciated. You know, if you need the gains, then they're here, Scott. You know, I don't have any, but, you know, I'll give you them.
Gloria gainer over here.
Indeed.
But no, it's been an interesting week in the world. New games, old games, and
new houses.
Aye. Trying to get used to having 3 toilets.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's not a flex, ladies and gentlemen, but I'll tell you something, I've shat in all 3 of them.
And I've not yet completed the Trinity. I'm not in your house, in my house, I've not done it yet, but that's definitely within the sights at some point.
You should do 3 shites in one day, 1 in each bathroom, and come back to me and report. But it's been good. It's been a nice change. And one that I think has been needed, seeing how we all have settled into the home and how things have changed for us all has definitely been something that we were kind of living on top of each other, but now we have our own space and space for all of our shite, which is good. So, long may it continue until July.
Indeed, you've got the calm before the storm, but to be fair, that'll be a nice little bubble as well when the wee one's there.
Exactly.
It's a special time, man. It's a special time, and it is good to get that feeling when you've got a bit more space, and you know it's a luxury, but it's one that you definitely appreciate, isn't it? Like, especially with kids running about, and yeah, it's just more space for them to mess. If I'm honest, that's really all I think about it.
That's basically all it's become.
Yeah.
But Liam, heartfelt moments aside, let me just take us back a week.
Right.
What am I doing wrong here? What is this bashing of Scott Curry on his own podcast all about when I'm not here?
Listen, I don't know. I'm a mere bystander. Do you know what I mean? I'm sitting watching the 2 greatest heels in podcast entertainment go at each other. I mean, I'm just sitting at the side minding my business. I'm nothing but JR.
I'm starting to take it personally. I'm feeling like fucking Michael Cole over here, but it's I don't even know. I couldn't think of another wrestler that would have been relevant to The Miz. Just been absolutely fucking bitched out on his own show, and I'm not having it. I'm not for it. So
a
rebuttal has to be made, but I don't have one.
I think I have to get a showcase of the immortals happening here. Get yourself and Alex, get 3 of us on the show here, and we can really have we can witness two of the greatest heels
A
go
debate.
toe to toe. Yeah,
We can have a debate.
A debate on some of the best games and worst games of all time. That would be fireworks because, and also hilarious. Just because
It would be good. It would be good.
cracking.
I also think it's really funny that, Yakuza was mentioned and how people think I absolutely don't like a Dragon.
Do
I
you
did
hate Like a Dragon?
I did like a Dragon. I'm pretty sure that the voice actor for Snake played one of the characters in the Japanese version of it. So I loved it.
That's your default love.
So much so that, see, after listening to the show in the Steam sale, I bought it on my Steam Deck because I was so keen to play it again. So there you go. Shove that up your ass.
Well, of course, big massive thanks to Alex, who of course joined us last week. Who knows? We'll get him back on the show for that big showcase. Let us know if you want to see that. I'm sure Alex will be down because
I'll be washing my hair that day.
Of course. No, but yeah, it was great to have him on. And again, all things Yakuza was discussed towards the end of the Pixel Picks Showdown. But I mean, he's on a streak there, Scott. A streak in terms of when he turns up, he gets the W. No low hanging fruits. That's the problem for me.
That's because you're a coward. You're a coward, Liam.
I know. I am.
You're
indeed.
too gracious of a host when they have people here. You'd be an asshole.
Listen, you have to be. You have to be a good host. You have to be. But I know we've got lots of big games to talk about. Big, meaty, chunky, almost too chunky games to discuss, Scott. But before we do get some housekeeping out the road, of course, so that means this is the Pixel Parents Podcast, which means it's a weekly gaming show by parents discussing all things gaming while raising little ones. And you can get new episodes every Friday on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. So please go subscribe to us on YouTube so you don't miss our tired faces. You can find us on Blue Sky at pixelparents.bsky.social, or even email us at pixelparentspodcast@gmail.com. You can support the show for free at patreon.com/parents. Bonus shows, full malarkey, £0. And of course, share online. Tell your friends about us. Whatever you do, it makes a massive difference. Now, Scott, all that out the way, we need to start with the big, massive elephant in the room, which is not my arse, which of course we're talking about Crimson Desert. Weekend.
Wait for a minute, right? Give me 5 minutes just to talk about something completely different for a second.
Okay.
Let me get the good out of the way. Let me get that part out of the way. Because I've not had a chance to really speak for a little bit,
Yeah.
2 weeks is a long time, and the people need to hear about my world. So, no, Liam, you know what I'm going to talk about here. We had... What? I don't even know what you're going to think here. But no, I actually had a game to review, Liam.
Oh, right, okay.
Shocker. People forget what I'm doing these days, but I'm rustling away in the background like a wee mouse. But I actually had the opportunity to review a game called Bonnie Bear Saves Frog Time.
Right.
Not to be confused by a certain adult actress, but Bonnie Bear Saves Frog Time is a frog-obsessed comedy. According to its own store page, a frog-obsessed comedy adventure featuring tactical frog battles, bizarre quests, and the mother of all frogs, the Mother Frogger. It's developed by, I think it's 2 people from a team called Bonte Avond, which is based in Utrecht. They also made a couple of different games, Once Upon a Jester, which everyone really likes, and Everybody Wham Wham, but you play as the titular named Bonnie Bear, who on her bear day receives a bag of toads from her closest friends so they can play Frog Time. And Frog Time, Liam, is, we speak a lot about Queen's Blood in games, within games, mini games, but Frog Time is up there for me with some of the best mini games that I think I've played in games this year. Basically, it's a tactics style game where you get toads from one end of a 3x9 grid. You place your toads and you have to get them from one side to the other to damage them. But each toad have their own unique properties. So some might jump over a certain period, or some might boost, or some might blow or push people back.
Yep.
It's class. It's so good. And that's the start of the show. Basically, everything that you do is tailored around this mini game. So it's like at the beginning of the game, on your bear day, you get a present, so you get your frogs, but you also get a shell, and it gets stolen by a guy called Rick Speck, and he's got like Rick Speck has a six pack, but it's you have to try and train yourself up to go and beat him, and then the game opens up from there. But it's just it basically it compares itself to like Thank Goodness You're Here in terms of like humor and some of the jokes and stuff like that within it, and I can see that comparison, just like the way that the characters move around the world, and when you walk into a frame, someone's doing something a little bit weird and a little bit strange, and it's a bit bizarre, and it's kind of got that weird sort of Mighty Bushy sense of humor and stuff as well. It's so good. The voice acting complements that as well, because it doesn't take itself too seriously. It has moments where it does, but for the most part, you feel like the people are standing in the booth just having a laugh and having fun as they're doing it. There's a moment where people are singing and you can hear them literally laughing as they're doing it, and it oozes, love and attention to detail and stuff. It's great. And the music, kind of Bonte Avond are well known for having, well-made music that kind of complements their games, and this is no different. There's a moment in it where like you get given like a triangle or a tambourine, and you have to tap it along with the music that's playing, and you could sit for ages just doing it, Liam. Like it doesn't make you do it in time with the beat, so you could just be scudding the thing like 3 minutes. It's so good. But it's actually been one that I've been playing with the wee one. She's certainly enjoyed it. It's something that she can sort of navigate around, walk from bit to bit, and then I play Frog Time for her. I'm enjoying that. She's enjoying it as well. So it's one that I think that on Switch too, it's been great just having it there just to kind of pick up and go.
Lovely.
And it's one that, a lot of these sort of smaller games you find yourself kind of picking up and putting down very quickly, especially with like Steam and stuff as well. You buy things and you just never play them, but this is one that I do see myself going back to and finishing off, because it's good fun, and I just want to see how those frogs evolve over time. So it's worth checking out, especially because it's it should be relatively cheap on there as well. So worth having a look at if you're interested.
Good shout. Good
There you
shout.
go.
Yeah, to kick things off. But I suppose I'm going to move from the smaller games in this world to big chunky ones, as I was getting to. Big, massive, stinking, huge, massive games. It's got, and as I mentioned, Crimson Desert. It's here. It's here. The questions, of course, and this is a big game, so this is not going to be the big review. It's a journey so far. We continue in the journey. Is it living up to the hype? Are we settling into it, or do we just, it's already feeling absolutely ginormous? That's the question, Scott. I suppose I'm going to kick things off, right? Because I'm intrigued to get your thoughts on this. But I want to tease this out a little bit, right? Because people will probably guess where I'm at, maybe not. But you're the wild card here. Don't really know where you're at. I have a hunch, but I don't really know where you're at, because we've not actually had a proper chance to discuss this yet. So I'm excited. But however, I thought I'm going to keep this brief, right? I thought, right, what's 3 things I like, 3 things I don't like. Try to think about overall, I suppose, just to kind of get to the point. Because for those who don't know, Crimson Desert is a big, fuck off, massive open world RPG that is launched by Peril Abyss, who are more famously known for Black Desert Online, which is a big MMO. Now, this game, as I had said a couple of weeks ago, it felt like a game that if I designed, this would be the game. And thank fuck I'm not in game design, because this game is everything, the game, good and the bad within there. But let's start with the positives, right? In terms of what I've enjoyed about it so far, Scott, with my journey, is that most obvious thing to anybody playing this is the visuals, right? Absolutely jaw-dropping. I'm sure you'll agree. This is a game that if I was 10 years old, I'd be showing my dad. That's quite simply that. I'd be pulling them in, like, look at that tree, look at it. the foliage, etc. in this game is absolutely jaw-dropping, and that's probably the one thing that's going to continue all the way through your time with it, which is, wow, how have they managed to pull this off? It feels like witchcraft. I do also appreciate there's no lack of things to do in here. You could just sit and live in this game if you want. If you're the type of gamer that maybe buys 1 or 2 big games a year, I can see that they're trying to go for that. They're probably not really appealing to the you and me. They're probably appealing to the person that's maybe buzzing for GTA 6, bought FIFA, bounced off COD because it's crap this year, and they're just kind of like trying to get them in there. Absolutely massive. Combat can be fun in moments, which kind of leads me to the things that I don't like. And this is just like the general ones because this will develop, right? The HUD, Scott. That I don't wear glasses, but this game makes me want to wear them because I feel I can't see. It's god awful. You know, everything's way too small, and it stresses me out. And that leads me into the other thing that does stress me out, which is there's no difficulty options in this. Now, I know me and Alex were talking about this last week in terms of it's okay just to play the games in easy. In a game this size, where I just actually maybe just want the power fantasy and just to offset the time investment, that'd be quite welcome here. You know what I mean? Right now, I'm thinking, I hope they patch that in because every now and then you get overwhelmed by enemies and it's like, oh, Jesus. And that leads me to the third point, which is the janky controls. I have like no idea what some stuff does. And I'm sticking to basic stuff because the onboarding in this game was absolutely atrocious. You know, that's probably the fairest way that I could kind of put this together. Now, I'm going to keep my overall thoughts to one side now because, Scott, you've been very quiet, which means I think you're getting ready to deliver the finishing move here.
God.
If you can, is there 3 things that you liked and 3 things you didn't like about this game? So far,
I mean, there's definitely, there's definitely a few things for both. I agree with you wholeheartedly on the combat. I think that parts of the combat are good. I have absolutely no interest in wielding weapons. I will throw and I will grapple every single character that is there without fail.
Quite right.
The fact that you can clothesline people in this game, 10 out of 10 already, right? Fantastic. I love that shit. Visuals wise, yeah, once you finally get it properly working,
True.
you get there with it. But it's definitely, it is definitely a looker and a showcase for the console that we have. A third one.
He's struggling.
A third one. I mean, you're definitely not wrong. There's no shortage of things to do. It's the quality of those things to do that is the issue for me. I'm trying to think, is there anything else that I did actually really enjoy about it? I think that it's been a tough sell for me. It always was going to be, without a doubt. I mean, I played the game for the first half hour and I was just like, what the fuck am I doing here? It opens up well, but the minute you get hands on the combat, you're like, oh no, like this just doesn't feel right. And then it starts throwing, every single gameplay thing at you that you could possibly think of. Like, do you want to dodge like you do in Assassin's Creed or in The Witcher? Do that. Are you wanting to grapple people like you're playing Tekken? Oh, you can do that as well. It's like there's just so much here at play, and it's becoming a bit of an issue for me. But when it comes to the things that I don't like, I mean, I don't like the visuals. I think they're gorgeous, but I think it's a fucking god-awful, ugly game. Cliff, as the main character, is also just fucking turgid. Like, Gerard Butler, the character in fucking Fantasyland. You know what I mean? Gerard Butler, down to the accent, just ridiculous. The quest system, the HUD, the menus. Open up the menu. Where are the quests in the faction screen or some bollocks? Like, it doesn't make sense. Tutorials. There's a million tutorials because there's 100,000 different things that you can do. The fact within the first hour of the game that you're sweeping fucking chimneys. It's like, this is your introduction to this game, and you're sweeping fucking chimneys.
Yeah.
Like, oh, come on, man. It's just... I made it to chapter 2, Liam. So I hit chapter 2 last night with it, and I was like, you know what? I've paid for the game, so I'll try and make my way through it and see what I can do. But every single thing that I've listened to of anyone speaking about it, every single video that I've ever watched, every single one of them are telling me all the things that I don't like about the game, like already, and that they don't get better over time. So it's just like, how long do I want to actually sit with this before I do ultimately give up? Do you know what I mean?
That's interesting, very interesting, because in fact, it's a lovely segue, right? Because I've got like the overall thing. Now we're getting into the meat, and you're bang on. Like that chapter 2, like see those opening hours, as I mentioned, like they're atrocious, like
Yeah.
rough at best if I'm feeling friendly. But then it's that classic thing, chapter 3 onwards, and it does this weird thing where it gets its claws in you. It's so weird because I was at the point where I'm like, I'm not sure. Like I'm like, there's everything you meant, the chimney sweeping, all this turgid stuff, a perfect word for it. And there's no good narrative there.
No.
Like it's just tacked on. There's
There's
no narrative.
no narrative, Liam. Like that's the problem. There's nothing.
Like I don't care about the world. I'd have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just kind of just in the world, inhabiting it. But there's this odd. I've got this odd like compulsion to go back to it now that I didn't have in those first opening hours. It feels like it's settled because I've accepted the game for what it is and not what I thought it was going to be. And the weird thing is, obviously, the comparisons are like you play a big third-person action adventure RPG game. You probably find its influence that is shown in here, whether it be Zelda or whatnot. The thing that I heard going in, but not that I realised was going to be the strongest one for me, was Red Dead Redemption 2 being such a major influence just from the way you move and how you engage with things, even the style of the map and the menu. I just wasn't expecting that because it leans so hard to the point. Even the visuals, like the way that the world looks, it's kind of like you can totally see the references to certain parts of the world in Red Dead Redemption 2. And that's going to either go for or against it, because if you weren't into that, you're going to have a dreadful time here, because he does, like, Cliff meanders a little bit. Then at the next minute, he can sprint fast as fuck across the map, but the stamina kicks in because a little bit of Zelda comes in at that point, and then it's like, you're hopping between all these different types of games, but there's something in there, you're like, right, okay, this isn't this isn't one particular dish, this is fusion cuisine. And it's kind of like, right, okay, I've got a Korean fried chicken burger, with a tatty scone on it. And it's kind of like, okay, right, that's weird. Not something that I kind of went in wanting to order. But now I've had a few bites, I can finish this. It's not going to be the greatest, most nutritious meal I'll ever have in my life. But right now I'm kind of like, I mean, there's parts of it that's tasty. Do they necessarily go together? I'm not too sure. But that's kind of like the best analogy I could think of just now, Scott, in terms of how I feel about this game.
I don't even know how I would describe my thoughts on it for the moment. I'm like you, there's something there that's bringing me back to it. Whether that's wanting to see how things develop as time goes on, or whether or not I just want to become hench McGrapple and just throw people around the map, because that's fun. Like that, I think that's hilarious. But is that going to be hilarious 30, 40 hours into this game? Because it's got no fucking end in sight.
No.
I don't know. Talking about its inspirations, Red Dead. Red Dead got away with it because the story and the characters in it were good. You know what I mean? Like, this game just doesn't have that. And it doesn't even try to have that. You know what I mean? Like, writing my notes today, I was like, story-wise, what the fuck is going on here? 1 minute, I'm walking through the middle of this fantasy world. The next, I'm in the fucking Matrix walking. The next, I'm just like in midair floating down from the sky with wings. It's like, it's all just bullshit. And it's happening so fast that I have no time to comprehend what's going on.
Yeah.
But it's like, what? Like, it's so weird that there's something clicking in my brain with it. It's inspirations. It takes from every single game that you've ever played. Do you know what I mean? Like, cooking, mama. Are you wanting to cook shite? Are you wanting to fucking clean chimneys? Are you wanting to, just go for combat? Are you wanting to take down bounties? It has everything from every single game, but doesn't do them all fractionally as good as its inspirations. Do you know what I mean? Like, if it had done one part of it well, it might actually be decent. But it always just kind of, it's like in uni, you would always try and get 40% because you'd pass. But this is a 40% game. It's like they've not tried to go for an A. They're just trying to get a C so they can get through it. Do you know what I mean? And that's basically what it feels like as I play it. It's It's a strange game though, Liam, because we can't. Now this is where the heel comes out a little bit in me, because this game has become, you know, like criticism kryptonite. Do you know what I mean?
Oh
Like
yeah, God yeah.
you cannot criticize this game on the internet, because it seems to be the herald for all these fucking internet weirdos. Do you know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
Reddit users are in love with this game. People on Facebook apparently really like it as well. So
Yeah,
take from that what you will. But it's like people are saying, "Oh, this is the best game ever made," and it's like, I mean, yeah, it's the best of every other game that's ever been made. You know what I mean? It's going to be something, but it's definitely, and without a shadow of a doubt, it's definitely worthy of the criticism that it's getting, because it
yeah.
just doesn't do everything as well as it does. But I think the biggest issue for me with it, Liam, is I'm just not sure what it wants to be. I think that
Mm.
the fact that it takes from all these different games, and the fact that it's trying to be an everything game, makes it impossible for me to determine what I want to be in this. Is it an MMO? Then yeah, I could live with it being an MMO. Is it just going to be one of these, forever games where you just jump in like a Stardew Valley, like an Animal Crossing, but you just go and do random tasks?
Mm.
Fine, but give those tasks to me now, rather than
Yeah.
making me work fucking for all this shite. If I could tack down one thing in this game that it actually wants me to do, and for it to be worthwhile doing it, I'd have an infinitely better time with this game. With it,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just the quest systems, like. And what game have you ever been, like in The Witcher, for example? It just tells you where to go. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just like you don't know where it is on the map, but it's saying, yeah, go there. It's like, what? Like, fly across the map in 2 seconds, and then you go and see what you have to do over there. It's like, what? It's like in Zelda, the Breath of the Wild, where it tells you to go and find the Gorons, say for example, right? Then it just says go there, but in this game it would tell you the exact place where you have to be, what you have to do to get there. It's like, I just don't understand it. But
Mhm.
you can RKO people in it, so
Yeah, and
do you
gets
know what I mean?
points for
It's
that. I mean,
just, it wins for that for me.
there's fun to be had in it, and you can clearly tell that this was at first an online MMO that's
Yeah.
became a single player game, and even just there's a feel to it, and it's almost kind of telling they're going for something that's like, you know what, if we can make this as visually impressive as possible, stuff everything in there, we're going to find an audience. And I
Mhm.
think that's what you're seeing online, because yeah, in terms of critiques and all the rest of it, there's just some games that it's like, you know, if people can go in and find their own fun in it, and maybe they do just want to just inhabit a big gorgeous world and just be free to do everything, particularly in a world devoid, and this is the closest thing that you'd probably see to a GTA clone in some time, and
Mhm.
you're going to hear people compare that to Crimson Desert when it comes out, strangely enough. And the thing is, though, I'll stick with Rockstar here. What it's done is it's made me appreciate like how well the people that has influenced this game. You know what I mean? So it's like when you look at Red Dead Redemption 2, a game that people would always say is boring and meandering and all that, but you look at Crimson Desert trying to ape the style of it, and you realise that isn't easy to do. I don't think people did suggest that it was, but you realise, Christ, that was actually pulled off so well. Look at Zelda, the way they're kind of, aping the Sky Islands and stuff like that. Assassin's Creed. I'm trying to think what else. Even like the combat. In fact, I'm going to keep it back here. I'm going to finish my point here before I mention it. But everything that it pulls from, right? And you're like that. All these other games are just masters at doing like that kind of few things well. This game, to use another analogy, is a little bit like, see if you go to a house party, right, or an empty, as you would call it here, a gaff in this neck of the woods, and everybody's had a few tinnies, and somebody pulls out a guitar, and it usually goes to a Ned who will play Wonderwall, or he'll play some form of Oasis song, and there's usually a G chord or a C chord, maybe even a wee E chord in there. It's not big, but people will sing along and they'll have a good time. But this person's the worst possible guitarist you've ever heard. But then you put that in the hands of, say, friend of the show, Adam, right? Put it in the hands of him, a craftsman a maestro who actually knows the ins and outs of this guitar can work that fretboard like nobody's business. It's night and day, and that's the feeling that I get here. It's kind of like Crimson Desert is Noel Gallagher to, like, I don't know, like a Jimi Hendrix elsewhere. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's probably like what I'm looking at in terms of like the influences and what this has become, which is a mass appeal, does the job, like you say, is the 40%. It's just looking to be good enough to be passable in front of a big, massive, in this case, Nebworth Stadium. And I say that as somebody that enjoys Oasis and is a big fan. I've seen them in concert myself, and it's like I'm not slighting them, but I'm also very aware of what they are. They're the everyman. And I think Crimson Desert's definitely setting out to be that next everyman game, which is nothing wrong with. I think it's like, you know, at first I did start to believe maybe this could be an 8, 9 out of 10 type experience, but right now it's probably sitting closer to a 6 with my time so far, at best. But now I've learned more about it and I've understood what this is. This is going for the everyman type thing. This is kind of more my junk food fix. I'm fine with that, and I'm compelled to go back, and I'm quite happy to stay within this world and learn more about it. And like you said, see where it goes. You know what I mean? Is it going to all of a sudden become a 10 out of 10 experience? No, but not every game can be, you know. But this is just, there's something so oddly intriguing about it. I just can't quite put my finger on it yet.
I just don't know what I was expecting from it, to be honest with you. Like, as I say, just if it does one thing well, then, you know, I'd be all on board with it. But it hasn't shown me that yet, and from what I gather, it's not going to. So I just don't know, man. But it's selling well. Do you know what I mean? So it's like 2-3 million or something like that already. So
3 million and counting at the time of recording.
It's obviously doing something right.
What about the 3 words for you, Scott? 2 words and a number. What about the comparisons here? Because it's a big vibe initially as well, not just Red Dead, but it's Dragon's Dogma 2.
Oh, fucking hell.
Mean, there's a vibe here, Scott. You can't...
Yeah. Oh, mate. The millisecond you said it on Blue Sky, it was like fucking that moment in Ratatouille when he eats the rat. It's just like, take me back to that misery. Yeah, it's too. But Dragon's Dogma 2 was better than this. I'd say that it's a better game than this because it has purpose. Do you know what I mean? Like there's reason to continue with it, and the fighting in it was actually, you know, fun at parts. But this is just like every single minute I play of it, I'm just like, this is a minute I could be playing anything else. Like it's just like, what am I ultimately at the end of this? Am I going to have a satisfying end to a story? Fuck those. But I'd like to have something to show for it. I think it's going to come up later in the show, so I don't want to, you know, blow it too early. But it's a conversation that I'm having with myself more and more these days when it comes to these types of games, I'd say.
Absolutely. And I think we'll move on just before we've got a couple more things to kind of get into before we get into that said main topic. But I do want to, we're going to, no doubt, Crimson Desert's going to be in the conversation for a few weeks. I know, at least from my perspective, I'm intrigued to see how far you hang on with it yourself, Scott. But I'm going to move on to the other big game that we have been kind of charging through. Just because I wanted to touch base, and it's going to come up in the main topic, so it's going to be very brief. But I hate to say, I've hit a wall with it this week, and it's probably because of Crimson Desert, mind you, but it's with Pokemon Procopia, should I say. And it's just, there's the thing that I'm finding difficult at this stage in the game, you know, 30, 40 plus hours in, there's greater delays to obtain and to craft certain materials and build stuff. So the progress really takes a handbrake turn, which really stinks. You know what I mean? Like, and don't get me wrong, I still want to continue. It's like a wee happy place that you go to. I just think that I need a solid, like, Saturday morning with it. That's kind of what I'm looking to hopefully achieve. And that's the lie we tell ourselves every week, Scott. We'll get a Saturday morning to do whatever. But that's kind of what I'm hoping for. But I know you've went back to it as well, and in favour.
Yes.
As opposed to Crimson Desert, but you're still enjoying it?
I love it, man. I absolutely love it. It's I can't stop playing it, which is the problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like in the car, my daughter went to Girls Brigade tonight, and in the car waiting for her, I was sitting playing it.
Nice.
I also played Tomodachi Life, the demo for that, which is fucking hilarious. But um, with Pocopia, I mean, I agree with you. You know, there's definitely points where it is very much, you know, you're gated behind having to wait till tomorrow for things to get finished or for things to get updated. And it's like, yeah, that's a bit of a pain in the arse, but there's always something else to do.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I've made it my job to remove all the volcanic ash from one of the areas.
Oh
So
yes,
now I'm
that's
just
fine.
now I'm just doing that. You know, I'm just rolling around, kind of doing all that shit, and it's still given for me. I'm still, you know, Bleak Beach has never looked so good. Which it should change its name now because
Hmm.
it's definitely not fucking bleak anymore. uh, and I mean, I do agree that it definitely does halt progress, but also there's always things to do, always things to be keeping you busy. So, aye, no
Right.
issues with that.
No, it's definitely one that will be keeping in. It's going to stay in the rotation for a very long time.
Yeah,
It's very much a compulsion, but and I'm happy to set stuff up and come back to it the next day. It's when it also adds that kind of time weight mechanic to crafting of certain materials that you need to then craft buildings. And I don't want everything to be. You want the place to be nice because that's the thing. Like for me, I was kind of battering through bits and not really spending too much time in doing stuff up. But I did the same in Animal Crossing. It's almost like you kind of have to play through the game. I like to scope out exactly how far of a play space that I've got before then I really start to tend to stuff.
it's true.
We all have other people do the other way. I mean, some of the creations you see online is absolutely staggering. It puts my absolute trash island to shame, to be quite frank. But people doing
You could
some.
you could literally make Trash Island, like if you
You
wanted
could,
to.
you could. It's not a bad idea
So
actually.
you and Trubbish together just living on Trash Island. I'd love that.
I know. It is possible. Believe in your dreams, folks. But yeah, I'm still going to persist with it naturally. It's between
It's just
that
it's a
Pokemon
game
Fire
that you
Red
don't
and
have
Gold.
to. It's a game that you don't have to rush through. That's the thing. Like it's just
No,
play
it'd
it
be
at your own
crap if you
pace,
did.
which is cool.
Yeah, I think it'd be crap if you did. It's supposed to be like a chill zen moment at the start or end of your day, really, isn't it? Like, and I appreciate it for that, particularly when you've got like all these other ones coming at us thick and fast now. It's absolutely mental. But we're going to move on to a little bit of news because this news, I think, relates to the children, which we believe are our future, Scott. Um,
I certainly
um,
do. I certainly believe that.
Indeed, and it won't linger for long because we've got a main topic still, and we're treating these this week. But it's basically big news this week, obviously, and amongst a lot of other shit that's been happening. And we're hoping this is a welcome distraction from it all. But as the Fortnite developer Epic Games have axed 1,000 jobs this week, with the Epic chief exec Tim Sweeney cited a downturn in Fortnite engagement going all the way back to the start of last year, 2025. Now, a couple of things to add the context here, right? So, Tim, big nerd, twat, he also added that they needed to make major cuts to keep the company funded. That's my bullshit alarm going off there. He said slowed growth, weaker spending, and tougher cost economics, with current consoles selling less than last generations and games competing for time. These were all the things that he listed off as some challenges. He also made a point of saying that it wasn't related to AI. Interesting. And yeah, it's just another shitty update that's happened this week. I would suggest there's a full statement about the layoffs on epicgames.com where you can see it in full. And yeah, it's worth going to check out just to get if you're interested in the news. However, what I wanted to talk about, Scott, really was is Fortnite cooked, and I was seeing a transition moment here from the youth, from that younger generation of kid gamers, because we've got little ones there. They're now stepping into the world of games, and they're very much still in the Nintendo era. And there's a few things I want to pick apart there, but within his statement. But Fortnite is not really something. I think I had one brief moment when my son was like, "Oh, Fortnite," but it's not really something that I hear coming up at this age range. It's actually more Roblox, which being completely transparent here, he will never play because I've just banned it outright. Like it's not happening because even my wife is like, that's where all the nonsense play. So it's like it ain't happening. We could play a bit of Minecraft, Fortnite. I'm just like, there's just no need right now for you to be playing that just with how young he is. But each to their own. That is not a judgment call. But even at that, you go into the shops, go into Smith's, and it's like you see the Fortnite toys in that. You can walk right past it and not interested. And I just wonder, Scott, is this the canary in the coal mine? Are we finally starting to see the youth just move on and Fortnite's going to get left behind?
I don't. I'd love to say yes, Liam, but I don't think it will. I think Fortnite's too big. It's too big to die. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're always these games are always going to have hot and cold moments, and moments where they're more popular than they're not, and then more popular than they're not. Like, it was just recently we're talking about that Simpsons season of Fortnite, and everyone fucking shitting themselves over that, and people who have never played the game before or haven't played it in months going back to it. Do you know what I mean? Like, even yourself jumping in for certain things at the same time, like the Hank Hill skins, or even like some of the Marvel skins as well. Like, we've both fallen foul of that. So it's like, I think that it's only natural that our kids and kids growing up now might not be interested in it because they haven't grown up or they haven't lived through it. Do you know what I mean? Like, their game is going to be something completely different. But you asked me a lot of questions, Liam, and I actually have a question for you. In that we always consider Fortnite to be for the children, you know, for the children. But has it ever been for the children? When you look at, you know, the battle passes, the fact that, you know, it's always been marketed with characters like Hank Hill or the Simpsons or the Family Guy skins. I'm pretty sure there was a Futurama season in there, Back to the Future, all this other bullshit that we care about, you know. Like, who is 12-year-old child in Glasgow caring about these kind of things? Has it ever been for them?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point because I think it's a little bit of a toy box trying to appeal to many different things at once. The King of the Hill one, for example, right? Neil did get me back in, but I'm buying stuff for not the sake of it. But on the whole, about 80% of those skins are all going to be stuff that is within the current pop culture vernacular of a teenager. Probably anybody between the ages of, I'd say, at least 10, 11 upwards, because it's like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but the backbone is things like with Disney, so, you know, Star Wars, Marvel, etc. Then they get the little extra things. Christ, the fact that you get a Sabrina Carpenter skin,
it's so good though,
says a lot, because
so
like, I didn't know what a Sabrina Carpenter was until last year.
It's like my favourite. My favourite story about Sabrina Carpenter is that my wife didn't know who she was. Probably still doesn't. But she asked who Sabrina the Carpenter was. And like, I honestly couldn't breathe for about 10 minutes after she said. So stupid.
It's true. Even has there not been other people? Was Billie Eilish? That was a one for Chapel Roan as well.
Boo.
I'm not sure.
Doesn't like her fans. Her security don't like her fans.
Genuinely Bernie Mac at this point in time, isn't he? You know,
unbelievable.
That's what she's saying, but
unbelievable,
ridiculous. But yeah, to answer your question, I think it's tried to be. We come back to that every game point. It's tried to be a little bit of everything for everybody. But what I've thought about is that I think you're absolutely bang on. Like, it's not going to die, but I think it's just experiencing a natural decline. And to be fair, its overall success has surprised everybody. You know, myself, I still think back to that first day playing it, and we're like, we'll go check it out. And it was this janky wee battle royale game, and it's like, okay, this is okay. You would never have thought that it had become this, but it did what it did, and it's a phenomenon. But the kids grow up, and fads change, and your audience does move on, and that is like the biggest chunk of it. And if you look at our generation, I liken Fortnite a lot to WWE. So I think it had its moments, but it's still here and it's still successful, but it will just never hit that high again. That's the only difference. And I think that's what it can be akin to this. I know you belong, it sells more merch, sells all that, but from a pop culture standpoint, it's just not the same. It never will be. You know what I mean? Like that was the main thing, and Fortnite did have its moments because you'd be going to kids' parties and it become part of the vernacular. Well, that's Fortnite, and even if the Moz and the Daz are talking about it at the side at the kids' party that you broke through. You know what I mean? There's t-shirts, there's pajamas, there's stuff in Primark, there's all that stuff. And will it ever go away? No, it'll still be there, but I think it's just had its peak. And what we're seeing is that decline. And it does suck that people's livelihoods are the cost of all this fucking capitalist greed. Once again, we're here talking about stuff, profitability, master sustainability again, instead of investing in people and innovating. It's just this age old, let's do less, and if we stumble in success, then that's when we'll scale. I do hate
Liam,
this world sometimes.
Tim Sweary said it was fine that all the people being laid off are going to join a budding workforce and be experts in their field. He said that was okay. And in my research for this show, Liam, it was made clear to me. I think there was a survey done during GDC that said 1/3 of the US gaming industry workforce has been laid off in the last 2 years. Like, wild.
It is.
And what was it? Jason Schreier said on Blue Sky that on average it takes a game industry worker 1 year to get a job. It's like, so these people are going to be laid off for at least a year potentially. It's like, fuck that, man.
100%. It's shite.
It is shite. And, regardless of what they say, it's just nonsense. But you also mentioned WWE, Liam, and my little factoid for this week for the fans out there is that as of today's Wednesday, so as of Monday the 23rd, it was 25 years since WWE bought WCW.
Jesus.
So there you go.
Thanks for making me feel absolutely ancient. I feel my bones turn to dust at that. That's insane. 25 years?
25 years ago.
What a time to be alive. I mean,
disgusting.
There was obviously, they're not, it's not a direct one-to-one example. I think I was just speaking just from a phenomenon perspective, but I just look at, like, you'll be the same, like, look at our nieces and nephews, right? And they were that Fortnite generation that grew up and that was it. And they're moving on just because it's like, when you're at that age as a teenager, you do stop playing games as much and you start doing stuff with your pals, and maybe let's say you're going to gaffs and empties and there's some nutter playing a Crimson Desert song in the corner, you know what I mean? Like, doing all the Oasis stuff, but I don't know, it's just, it feels like that's all that's happening here. Plus, obviously, they're looking at it through the lens of COVID, when they had a big boom, when more people were stuck indoors.
Yeah.
So there's lots of kind of false metrics kind of behind this a little bit, and I don't know, like, they're naturally, it frustrates me because it's like, we're too quick to cut and too slow to invest. And you could actually, I think the world has to do a lot of learning from that, because it's getting worse, and the timelines are getting shorter and shorter. And I had that think about it the other day. It's like, when previous generations to us, people would be working in places for decades at a time, and now it's like 2 to 3 years at a time, and even shorter if you're a game developer, like you mentioned. But that's after like years of effort to try and get in. And listen, nobody's entitled to anything because they have the skills to do so, but it would just be great to kind of create more opportunity for them to be able to do so, at least to have a crack. And I think what you're going to see is less people moving into the art form at the end of the day, because they're like, well, what's the point?
Yeah.
It's like every other one they create.
Even with that, though, more space for indie games as well. Like,
yeah.
Seeing the boom on that now, but it's, having 1,000 people join the workforce might create more opportunity for sort of more innovation in the indie games. I don't know, but that seems to be propping up the industry at the moment anyway. Not games like fucking Crimson Desert.
No, they're too bloated. They're too bloated. But I digress. I think we should probably move on to our main topic with more big games like Crimson Desert. But before I do move on to the main topic, if you do enjoy the show and you want to support us, you can. Won't cost you a penny. Just go over to Patreon. There's a patreon.com/Pixel Parents, and you can join a free community there. You get every show, chats, bonus stuff, everything in between, including side quests with Scott, free all the time. And if you can, Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com/at Pixel Podcast. Now, Scott, you mentioned big games. We've talked about a lot of big meaty games this week. Crimson Desert is humongous, and it's not alone. We're only a few months into 2026, but it feels like it's been a year already. And it feels like, we're clocking in for some big gaming shifts as well. And yeah, there's a lot of big, massive games. There's a lot of big, massive games to come down the line. And what I want to talk about this week in the main topic is clocking in, big game bonanza, and really just how we handle that time crunch. Because, listen, we're getting older. Lives are getting busier. Your lives are about to get even more busy as well. And there's lots of things that, if there's one thing we know at this stage in life is that it constantly changes and it constantly begets more of you to do more important stuff, and rather than sitting there behind and play games. But listen, games are the constant distraction in our lives. That's our curse. That's our blessing. And I'm just wanting to talk about, how do we go about this, and what do we see the rest of the year? Because if you look at it, Scott, right, and we'll be coming at it from two very different perspectives right now, but it's important that we do, because you're going to go through a rebirth stage, when baby cuz is here, and that's going to be very exciting, and you're going to experience games in a different way at that point, hopefully, as well. But then things rebalance, and I'm speaking to you from the other side of this with the two monsters there, and it's like, right, things balance out, but you feel that over time these games just get bigger and their time gets smaller. How are you feeling just looking at the calendar, just in general? You see things like all these big, massive, chunky games coming out, and that's before you get to the big, massive crater that's called Grand Theft Auto 6 at the end of the year.
Well, it's a little ding there, aye. It's it's disgusting. Every single time I look at it, I mean, I've actually stopped looking at games that are coming out because it is just overwhelming thinking about it. I think that last year I spent a lot more time, on releases.com looking at the upcoming dates in the calendar and what's coming out this year. But it was, I've just stopped now. It's just, I just can't anymore. And I just pick games up as and when I need to,
It's true. I mean, I think one thing that I'm finding about myself with the time crunch is that I am my own worst enemy. Where you say pick games up, and I'll see things like, oh, I'll just pick that up, and I still have that bad habit of holding games in the hope that I can get around to it. It's something that even now, like years down the line, with Cheech and Chong and Toe, as I've referred to them, it's like they haven't kind of stopped me from just kind of believing that maybe I will get a pocket of time, but I always find that I'm a one game man, and I will just have to sit and focus on stuff. And something that will, it's even like 20 hours some months, 20 hours of game time could sometimes take me a whole month to do. And I found that it's getting slower and slower, because obviously, like, I used to have a flexible working setup, don't anymore. So it's now knee jerk back into Office 9.5, which is actually, professionally speaking, has been breath of fresh air, because it's like, right, I had to get more focused, which is done, but it's come at the expense of that. Don't get me wrong, that's just the way it has to be. But I'm finding that's the big, big difference for me. Like, I found that I'm under even more of a time crunch because my window's got so much smaller, and I feel that pressure, to be like, I have to make this count. And you touched on it earlier there, like when you're playing a game, you're like, I'm just not enjoying this, and you just kind of move on. And I found that happening this year, briefly, in a game that I was thoroughly enjoying until I stopped, and I had to put it down. And it's now on the list for me to go back to, and it was Final Fantasy X. Just because the grind, that was all it was. It was asking a grind of me that I couldn't possibly commit to. It was daunting, and I had to put it down. And I could put it back up tonight, and I'm at this certain boss. I could probably just about churn my way through it, but it's still like that whole of like, oh, like, do I have it in me? And I just have to commit. And I'm finding that I'm at this point, this transition point with this whole time crunch, juggling everything that you, me, and everybody listening to this show deals with. Nothing new or out of the ordinary, just life. But you still find yourself circling back. But it's that whole thing of like, the expectation goes up. You're like, please be good, because I'm about to sit and use hours onto this.
It's true though. I mean, I've fucking echo what you're saying. You're talking about the change in your job. I've obviously taken on a second job, just part-time thing, and it requires me to get up at 3 a.m. But like on those days, the hour, maybe an hour and a half that I get to play something before I go to sleep is key. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's therapy anyway, but it has to be done right.
Yeah.
If I'm playing games like Mugenics, I have to make progress, otherwise it's wasted time. Pocopia, same as that. I mean, I have to do something that feels like it's worthwhile doing. But I mean, what I was sort of thinking about was obviously, handheld gaming has become like a tonic for that, and that it's made it so much easier to just sit. I can still hang out with my wife, and I can play something if I want to. I don't really do that as much as you'd think, but over time it will be something that maybe becomes a bit more necessary. But if a game is good, you probably echo this yourself. If a game is really good, you'll make the time for it.
Yeah.
Look at Resident Evil 9 the last few weeks. I mean, fucking blasted through that, and it was just because I really, really enjoyed it and I loved my time with it, so I wanted to try and make as much time available to play it. And that's sitting down in front of a fucking TV and playing the thing.
Yeah.
But it's, I was going to say it earlier on, and I'll say it now so I can get it out of the road, but I've got this, I'm calling it endless game fatigue, where games like Crimson Desert, games like Pocopia, Mugenics, things like Stardew Valley in the past as well were fine because I could plough endless amount of hours into it and feel like I've made progress. Roguelites, things like Hades, things like name another roguelite game, Liam. Anything. Fucking Slay the Spire 2, you want to put that in there. Like games like that you might not make one iota of progress. It's just run after run after run of failure. It feels like, if you have a night like that, it's like, what the fuck have I been doing? Do you know what I mean? Like, I could have slept. I could have done anything else at this point. And that has become, I've just got this fatigue with those kind of games now, and they're becoming more and more and more. Having games that rely on that replayability is great when you have the time to do that. I'll batter out, 4 or 5 runs on Mugenics. Great, I'll do that. But if you only have an hour here or there, and that's maybe only 1 or 2 runs, it's hard. It's brutal because you're just not getting anywhere with it. You're making no progress. Looking at my progress in Mugenics, I've probably popped about 25 hours into that game, and I'm 25% of the way through it. It tells you at the beginning of the game, and it's disgusting. Whereas looking at a game like RE9, finishing games is cathartic, Liam. Seeing credits roll on the end of a game is there's no greater feeling as a gamer because you've seen everything that needs to be seen, right? But like having that one and done thing where I could go back and play it if I wanted to, that's great. But how many games have I actually finished this year? Like, genuinely, because they just don't exist anymore. These games just don't exist now because everything's vying for this constant replayability, staying in the sort of ecosystem where you can play it again and again and again. Roguelikes, fucking just everything. It's like, come on, fuck. This is brutal. So it's just that I've got to have this fatigue with it. It's really hard to get past that point at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, you're bang on, because it's like, if I think back to like even like 2008, 2009 or stuff like that, the big games, I wouldn't go to them as often, but there'd be a certain brand of AA game that you just kind of gravitate towards, and it's like I can get through that in a week, like in between work, uni, all the rest of that, even though you had like an abundance of free time. Things like Enslaved, even like I remember picking up Crisis for the sake of it, just games it's like I know that's going to take about a wee handful of hours, I could batter through it, no bother. And Uncharted, that type of thing, Gears of War, these games, and then you'd pepper in like a Mass Effect and stuff like that, maybe like for yourself, like the Final Fantasy games, like they would come and they'll go. I don't get me wrong, I still enjoy the fact that it's like yeah, like Crimson Desert, it's like, is it a game I'm going to 100% know? Is it something even like Grand Theft Auto 6? Like I say that despite me having pure like time anxiety, it's like if that game isn't anywhere near as long as Red Dead Redemption 2, I'm probably going to be disappointed because if that's a 20-hour story after waiting 14 years for it, I want that to be like what was Red Dead clocked about 50 hours or something. And yeah, massive. Maybe it doesn't have to be that long, but it's like I want it to be 30 plus hours, but I am my own worst enemy, as I mentioned. But there's good news and bad news. You mentioned like even if I had a wee quick glance at like what's on the horizon here. You mentioned Tomodachi Life, right? So that's going to be another endless one. You've got Saros coming out at the end of next month, which is exactly the type of game you're describing there. But we'll know that's going to be a day one. But then you've got ones that are a little bit of good news there that's probably going to cut through that fatigue. Pragmata, a game I know you're very much looking forward to, but also a game I don't think you're going to. Well, yeah, I'm joking, but it's like I think it's a game that it might appeal to you when it comes out because you might be like, well, it's actually a wee 10 hours, might not pick it up straight away, but it's like, yeah, that's something I pick up down the line. And I think that's why I enjoyed games, like I recently did Mini Shoot Adventures. I was even looking at like Indiana Jones, for example, like a couple of years ago now, or 18 months ago, whatever you want to call it, Buzz. But I'm looking forward to like May. You've got like Forza Horizon. The next one that I'm kind of like, what's a one that I'm going to just blast through? It's 007 First Light, probably in May. I'm like, that's something like that type of game that we're talking about, where it's like there's a very defined story. It'll have replayability, but it's not core to it. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that I miss those games where it's like I can just go A to B, off I go. And I don't need that all the time. It's just like it says, you're just in that headspace because it has been. Procopia's probably thrown us for a loop, if I'm honest, because you talk about an endless game. That is a game you could play forever. Absolutely forever. You put Crimson Desert on top of that. You've got Mugenics there. The reason I didn't touch it was precisely because of that, because I'm like, I don't know if I have the time. And then Procopia came and I'm weak. And, the rest is history. But yeah, there's just a non-stop feeling of like, man, I feel like there's just so much good things trying to demand my time. And that's even more a precious currency. I'm sure there'll come a day, Scott, where we'll have more time, but we want the was it the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak at that point. And don't be wrong, like there's other ways to enjoy it now. A way around it is to play with the wee ones as well, but you can't really play all the games. Like you couldn't sit and play Resident Evil Requiem with the wee ones, you know what I mean?
I mean, you could.
You could, but you'd have to also pay for the therapy sessions at the same time. But each to their own. But I mean, you're limited in your capacity of doing that as well, and it's different because Copilot in itself it can be a great and testing, but you're not playing for a long period of time. You know what I mean? I'm not sitting there for like an hour, 2 hours at a time. It's probably at max about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Before, well, at least every kid's different. Where my son is just now, he'll get his fix and he'll move on. He'll be quite happy. You know what I mean? There has been times every now and then he'll want me to just kind of pass me the controller and I'll play it, but I'm also like that, man, I really wish I was playing something else just now sometimes because it's like you're usually replaying, and that's the other thing that I think has created this habit is I've never been a big replay gamer outside of my favourites like Arkham and all that. But now, forget it, man. Like, forget it. It's not going to happen because I'm like, I could sit there and I could put all this time into something that I've done time and time again, or I could try something new. And I hate myself and I always want that new shiny, but I know I should be a little bit more of a replay gamer, and that might be the tonic because you know exactly what you're getting into, you know how long it's going to take. But the other thing, you'll feel that just now, Scott. And what you're sitting playing a game and you're actually like, I'm going to go to how long to beat. How long am I strapped in here for? How long am I committing here and how do I burn through it? And you're actually not playing the game, you're just burning through it. Very different experience, you know what I mean?
Counting down the hours to finishing it, do you know? It's just, that's me with Crimson Desert at the moment. It's just like, how many hours am I willing to give this thing before I do give up? Because there's no chance no chance I see the end of that game if there
Aye.
is one. So fuck
Aye.
knows.
Endless. It'll go on to the end of time. But I mean, I'm sure lots of our listeners out there will probably appreciate it as well, because it's like you're not alone in that. We all are limited by time, and but there's so many good games. I say this every year, but there is some really, really meaty ones, and it's not just games, right? In the quest for our attention and time, we're looking at a potential all-timer year for movies, at least blockbuster cinema. We've also got all this good TV coming out as well, like Daredevil's back this week. I've got to go watch that. I've still got Fallout Season 2. I've still got another thing. I can't even remember what it was. I think Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I didn't even get close to that. But it's like, that's something that I could go check out. I still have Andor Season 2, Scott. Like, it's just an endless list. It's almost like pop culture fatigue within itself. And you do start to become more selective. I mean, even me, like, the Marvel apologist, I still haven't watched Wonder Man yet. So I'm like, I haven't got around to it. Just it's the time. And you mentioned something there, is that I've started to stack things, right? So you do have to, a very important thing that comes after, obviously looking after the wee ones, is spending time with your other half, if you can, of course. And it's like, that's where portable gaming has been the absolute godsend. Even like using the ROG to allegedly stream PlayStation on that right now to play Crimson Desert has been great this week, because we'll sit and watch some reality TV together.
No wonder you didn't
And
see the fucking HUD.
I know, what's going on? I know. No, that's how I actually had to move it into the living room to play it on the telly to try and see the HUD better, and going through the accessibility stuff. Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
is it just me? I don't think it is, but yeah, it's like trying to like stack time together. But then before we started recording tonight, and I was like, I'm just in this frame of mind just now where I'm like, get home from work, see the kids, sort out your dinner, right now do a wee bit of exercise, and then it's like, right, kids are in the bed, and I just want to go to sleep. And that's not like me. We're both the same, night owls. But I'm sitting there at like 8:30 the other night, like, I could honestly go to my bed. And all I want to do is go in my bed and watch gaming stuff on YouTube, but then just kind of go off into a little peaceful doze. And I don't know if it's just because like you're tired, just not really feeling it. Your body goes through different changes at different times, but I'm fighting it, which I know is a mistake, because it's that time crunch thing. It's like I should be putting the time into the games, and it's just an interesting spot, isn't it?
It's a difficult balance. We talk about the sabotage of sleep all the time, and whittling away those hours if you can, but sometimes it is just better just to go to your fucking bed. So, I mean, like, it's not worth it. And getting a good rest is better in the long run. Or you could just be like me and fall asleep playing Pocopia almost every single time that I've played it. So that's also helpful for that as well.
Yeah, I made the mistake of like playing that in my bed, which is not that's just the worst game that you could play in your bed. And again, if you're feeling that time crunch, you've got these big games trying to manage it, and you think, do you know what, I could do both of them once. I could play it in my bed, and all I have to do is press the sleep button off. I go, nope, you will not last 20 minutes.
No. Falling asleep with the Switch in my hand like
Aye. Aye.
What am I going to drop it?
Oh, snoring in such a nice little cozy bubble. It's a great sleep, don't get me wrong, but it's not going to do much favours if you're trying to overcome all of these fucking big massive games. But I suppose it's like it becomes overwhelming, and to the point where I just get more like I find myself questioning hour counts in ways that I never did before. Because as gamers, like, hour counts are a little bit of a way to pass how long that you've spent with, not just spent with the game, but it's like, oh man, I put X amount of hours. It's like that's like your badge of honor. Almost like if you've put 100+ hours into a game, it's like, oh man, this person knows a shit. Rightfully so. They spent more than 3 actual days on this earth within that game. But even like with Procopia coming out, and game is barely out, and there's people putting hundreds of hours in. Eugenics another one. And I'm just like, there's no life in it. But I'm like, man, even if I had the time, I don't think I would be able to do that. Like, and I was never that guy. But it's crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy, but I don't know. The thing that for me, in terms of like, why would we talk about it this week? And it's just because it's pertinent, because there's so many big ass games, man, that all I really just wanted to say is, almost to myself, take your time. There's no rush. Just do it one bite at a time. It's like that old adage, is that how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
It's ass first.
Ass first. Aye, ass first in my case. But aye, no, I'm intrigued to see how we go, Scott, because this train does not stop. It keeps on going. But silver lining, you might find that you have a wee pocket of time in the wee ones here. I say might, Scott, because this is going to be very different, because it's not like when you have your first and it's just like, you can hand the child back and forth between yourselves, and there's a wee pockets of time. When one's up, the other one's down, and vice versa. It's a beautiful, beautiful wee time, and lots of wee pockets of chaos and memories. But you might get a wee tiny pocket there to have the baby on you, and a Steam Deck in the other hand. So opportunities may arise.
Opportunity may arise, and
Indeed.
we'll see.
We'll keep our fingers crossed.
I'll keep everyone abreast.
Yes.
Of what's going on with it. I just wanted an opportunity to say the word abreast. So there you go.
Well, please do. Please do. We'll obviously be keeping everybody up to date on your shenanigans before you make your glorious return. But I think we should move on to the last segment of the show, which means that it is time for the Pixel Picks Showdown, where each week we each pick a game from our chosen theme and decide which one deserves to live on in the pallid Pixel Picks list, which is a definitive list of the best games we recommend and pass on to the next generation of gamers. Now, last week's theme, that was the best game to split the fan base. Obviously, it literally did, between Scott and Alex, with Yakuza Like a Dragon becoming the latest addition to the list. And in this week's showdown, we're going to be debating the best game that pushed gaming forward that we think should feature on the Pixel Picks list. I thought it would be a good one for this week, because obviously with Crimson Desert, obviously that was the promise. Don't really think it has, but it's an opportunity for us to go back and talk about it. Now, as always, Scott, last week's winner goes last. He's not here. So Alex isn't here. So I'm going to revert to the week before that to see who goes first. Now, best AA game was Lies of P, and week 95. I think, did we both have that week?
I don't know. I'll go first this time.
Right, let's go. Let you go first, since you
I'll
went
go
here last
first.
week. Give us your honourable mention and your pick, sir.
So my honourable mention is already on the list, because every other game on planet Earth is on the list. But my honourable mention for moving the industry forward goes to a little title called Metal Gear Solid, Liam.
Mm-hmm.
That amalgamation of story-based storytelling, as well as, stealth mechanics, everything else in between, phenomenal. And you still see it in games to this day, which moves the industry forward. But lovely. Choice for this week, get to the good stuff, Liam, is a game that I don't think you will think that I'll pick, because I don't think you think I've ever played this game.
All right, okay. I don't think I could think of one if you asked me that question.
No, it's an older title. It's a title that you could play on pretty much anything if you tried, which is a benchmark of the actual game itself. But the game that I'm going for is a little title that was released in 1993. And that game, Liam, is Doom.
Oh, yes.
Now,
good choice.
I don't think you can look at modern first-person shooters and don't think Doom was the fucking the beginning, the genesis of all that. The fast-paced 3D style of the whole game itself, fucking ridiculous. Everything that it continues to do, and you see the influences in over the entire industry is wild. The fact that it ran as well as it did at that time is crazy. And going back to the whole kind of run Doom thing, you know what I mean? Like, it's just
the benchmark.
That's the benchmark, aye. But it is like not only did it pioneer single player first person shooters, you've also got the sort of multiplayer parts of it as well. The over time that it has also sort of mixed in as well as like modding user content and things like that too. So it's not only a phenomenal first person shooter that you see the the DNA, and this is the what's his name? Oh fuck. What's his name? Oh, Mongolian guy. What's his fucking name, man?
I don't want to say.
Oh god, right. I need to Google it quickly, bear with me.
Are you talking about Genghis Khan?
Genghis Khan.
Mhm.
So I think that they say I'm going to say this out loud, right? But I'm also going to Google it at the exact same time because I'm
Okay.
pretty sure that roughly a 2003 study said that 8% of the men in 16 populations across the former Mongol Empire share a Y chromosome with Genghis Khan because he was so fucking right. So because he was basically a mad shagger. But this is basically that.
Yeah.
Doom is the Genghis Khan of first person shooters because you can see its DNA along everything. That is a phenomenal fucking line that I've just pulled out my ass out of fucking nowhere. So, enjoy that one, folks. But aye, Doom 1993 is your game. Take it, fucking leave it. That's the Genghis Khan of games.
Oh my god, I was not expecting that, but I love it. Love it. Genghis Khan of games. But yeah, you're absolutely bang on. I agree with everything you said. I think my honourable mention this week is already on the list as well. But I had to give it the shout out, which was actually Halo Combat Evolved, because it proved that the first person shooter could actually work and not just work really well on a console. Just largely through I had very buttery gameplay, even to this day. Very epic story, but most importantly, that control scheme. Take it for granted, but it quite literally changed the game for first person shooters on consoles. Before that, it was a bit of a fucking disaster, to be fair, but that was always the question. It's like, yeah, this is going to work on PC. PC was always the space to be when it comes to FPS, but without Halo, man, it's a very different games industry that we've got. However, the pick this week obviously can't just go to that because you wouldn't get Halo if you didn't have to go through Doom, and that is my pick as well. Doom 1993, the Genghis Khan of games, Scott, because like you mentioned, it all shares that Y chromosome, and without Doom, you don't get any Halo. So Halo doesn't push that in the consoles, and really, how else could you say it pushed gaming forward? Doom was the yardstick, and it's still to this day endlessly good fun, and it was just so compelling. Like we're talking about best game as well that pushed gaming forward. You're right. There's a fuck ton of games on that list. This is entry 97, but Doom could still hold its own against any one of them. To be fair, in terms of it did push it forward because there's still something, even in all its pixelated glory, that's fun. Ultimately, it's like, man, this is a fun ass game. It's quick, it's sharp, it's visceral, and it just got it, man. And I remember to this day, the first time playing it at my friend's house because he had the game in PC, and that was the thing. That was the main attraction. It's like, we'll go out and play some Doom, and it felt like you're playing something you shouldn't be playing because it's like, oh my god, look at the graphics, look at it, what? And absolutely fantastic. And without that, you don't get what the series has become today. But every other first person shooter owes it to its granda, or in this case, the Genghis Khan.
It's a fucking phenomenal line.
It really is. I think for everybody that's kind of stuck through the show at this point, I'm sure they're nodding and smiling and agreeing with that. Like, Jesus, the Genghis Khan of games. I think that's now has to become the thing. We're going to think of too many other way.
It's so shit.
Oh man, it's fantastic. But yeah, no, I think it's a slam dunk in it. It has to be Doom 1993 for the next entrant on the Pixel Picks Showdown.
Pixel Piss.
Pixel Piss, the best game that pushed gaming forward. But worthy list. We're only 3 away, Scott, before we start to redevelop stuff on here. Which is actually making me think I better get my Bahookie in gear. and start to think about how do we actually make this as good as we possibly can, because I can't quite believe that we'll be at 100 entries strong at that point. I'd actually quite like, see if I had the time, right, I would love to just, once that list is there, to just go through each one of those games again, one by one, and just kind of be like, yeah, does it actually hold worthy to the moniker as best adventure game? You know, is Devil May Cry 5 the best hack and slash game ever?
Yes.
Is Bloodborne the best Soulsborne game? Is Stardew Valley the best cozy game?
Yes. What
Is
about best
Burnout
sports game?
best sports game? What is it? If it's not Pro Evolution Soccer 5, it's obviously wrong, but I'm just going to see. Is it Wii Sports? Where is
I
it?
can't remember.
It's
It was
somewhere in
very,
there.
it was very early on.
There's actually so many of these ones in here, I can't find them. That's the thing.
I'll have a look quickly because I'm sure there was some fucking ridiculous nonsense at that point in time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You look for it to confirm once I wrap things up. But
episode week 4 sports.
Really?
Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games.
Jesus Christ. Oh, we want a recount. We're going to have some fun with this list once we get to 100 people. Strap yourself in for that one, which is only a few short weeks away. But of course, it does mean it brings us to the end of this week's podcast. So thank you once again for joining us. Remember, go support all the small independent games media out there. So if you like what you hear, enjoy the show, share on social, tell your pals about us, leave a 5-star review. Whatever you're doing, it does make a massive difference. And remember, go to patreon.com/Pixel Parents to join our free community and support the show. Now, Scott, it's test time. Where can people find you online if they wish to muse with you about other, Genghis Khan related things?
Genghis Khan. I am going to be the Genghis Khan of video games. I'm on Blue Sky, llamaman.bsky.social. Farting on them haters.
Indeed, and there's so many of them haters out there, Scott. But yeah, you can get me on Blue Sky as well at carmelite.bsky.social, where I'm probably going to be opining about general state of the world. To finish on this, we really didn't learn from the Black Eyed Peas some 25 years ago, Scott.
Which one? Love? Oh, where's the love?
Where is the love?
Was he pump it? Listen,
That's why we didn't learn.
See fucking driving into a petrol station and seeing that price. Fuck all that shite, man. Like, get it to fuck. It's so annoying.
I know that there's bigger things going on in the world, right? We all understand how basic economics work, right? It's like some bastardized version of the butterfly effect, isn't it? Some cunt does something on the other side of the world and we end up paying more for money for stuff over here. But I did have a little chortle when it was like they announced about the mortgage rates potentially increasing. I know, droll, dry stuff here, but it was just the comment section on it, which is just like, what the fuck does a war in Iran have to do with me paying money in my house? It was the pure like flatline nature of it. But I'm kind of like, I kind of feel that's where everybody's at the now, and it's like it's utterly fucking atrocious what's happening in the Middle East. But it's like a lot of people are kind of like, well, what the fuck has that got to do for my home in fucking Dingham? You know what I mean? It's like it's crazy.
It's just a fucking pain in the tits because this big fucking idiot bored. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just get to fuck. But honest to God, what was I going to say? You said economics, and immediately my mind went to thugonomics, Liam.
Oh, of course, yeah, of course.
I'm untouchable, but I'm forcing you to feel me. It's a fucking absolute bar. It's so good.
I think more than ever, like, the world's a shit heap. It's a crazy time. Just everything that you've got in life that you're grateful for, just enjoy it. Just enjoy it and hold it tightly and, make the most of it, because it's crazy days. It's crazy days. I'm out here to do what Will I Am couldn't, and really just
make good music.
Make good music and spread the positivity. Where is the love, indeed?
I want to fart right now. I want to.
Oh, he's the fucking worst. But yeah, on that note, people who are actually good at music, I want to go and give a massive thanks to producer and music man, the very talented and handsome Mr. Sean Murray. So please go show him all that sweet, nasty love. Go check out his work on Instagram at Bare Hands Designs and barehandsdesigns.com. And you, of course, can listen to the next episode on all major podcast platforms. Follow us on Blue Sky at pixelparents.bsky.social. Even write to us at pixelparentspodcast@gmail.com. Wherever you are, like, share, subscribe, and play some damn games.
I want to
Until
fart
next
right
time.
now. I want to fart right now.
Stay safe, stay sane, and thanks for listening.
Thank you, bitch.
Genghis Khan. Jesus Christ.
The Genghis Khan of video games. Phenomenal line.